What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing, my favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. Another day working from home. I think that Rita is okay with being able to operate on her own today, but just to be safe, we might spend another couple days here working from here. So if you don't see me in the studio and you see me rocking out from here, then you know why. Also, in addition to that, I got to make some runs today because I got to make sure that, I stop by what's going on over at the location and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, just normal everyday stuff. We got to make sure we take care of business, be on top of things, and not worry about what's going on around us, but make sure we on top of things. So, a couple different announcements. So, I pushed the live stream for Stock Club till tomorrow. So it's going to be on Tuesday, I believe probably around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Tuesday, 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to do Stock Club instead of doing it this Sunday. Because we had a lot going on. We had people over here. Everybody was over here to see Rita. Then they wanted to stick around in order to make sure that they stay around for the Lions, which that was a disappointment, but it wasn't a disappointment because it was a winning season. But we had a lot going on over at the house yesterday, and because I had to make sure that I'm here instead of down at the studio, I couldn't really get Stock Club off like I wanted it to. So instead, we just going to push it to Tuesday, and it's good because we got a lot of tech earnings to go over and stuff like that. So it'll be perfect. That way we can parse through and look at some stuff, and we can review it, and I want to adjust our portfolio a little bit so that we can maximize the returns that we want long term. So for everybody that, oh no, we're going to do after hours still, spaces. We're still doing after hours at 10 p.m., but Stock Club is going to be at like 7 or 8 p.m. So Stock Club shouldn't last any more than an hour and a half. Depends on how much feedback that we get in order to ask questions and stuff like that. So we still gonna do Stock Club. We still gonna do after hours on Tuesday. Nothing's changing, and we gonna still run it up. So again, just for the people that are looking to figure out exactly what's going on with Stock Club inside of the Patreon, we are going to do it on Tuesday. All right, Tuesday should be nice and quiet here. We shouldn't have any problems. We should be able to get that off. So shout out to everybody that's a part of the Patreon. If you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also on top of that, Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We appreciate that Teach pack. Shout out to everybody that's holding us down with Teej Hanley. We appreciate you. Teej is a sponsor of the show. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for your ladies to have to get it for you in order for you to make sure you're doing the thing that's in your own best interest, all right? Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Q show tonight on the Anton Daniels. That should be popping. I did an interview over the weekend with my girl, Randy Rosario. Some of you guys are familiar with Randy Rosario. That's my little sister here in Detroit. She does tour and she does content on tonight's conversation. So I got an interview with her releasing this week. I got an interview with Mika releasing this week. I got Rashad McCants flying back into the city and we shooting some content. So we got a lot going on. It's a whole lot going on to make sure that we running it up. Why y'all want to talk about the Detroit Lions so much? Lions definitely gave us that game, but I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, listen, the same thing that made us is the same thing that broke us. Going on it on fourth down and getting that stop instead of kicking a field goal, stuff like that. Listen, I live with it. I'm cool with it because it's the same thing that he's been doing all year, Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell. We rock with Dan Campbell over here in Detroit, and so we just lost to the better team. You know, I was talking junk all yesterday to Quentin. I was talking mad stuff. Me and Quentin was going back and forth over the phone. And in the beginning of the game, we had y'all down by 2 touchdowns. And I told Quentin, I said, yeah, I'm going to take all of my winnings and I'm going to throw them all over the freeway and cause chaos for my next viral moment, right? And Quentin was like, nah, Lions going to lose by 3. I'm telling you, Lions going to lose by 3. Man, I think that Quentin got a line in or something. He must know somebody because there's no way that he could have picked that. Down by 2, down by 2 scores, down by 2 touchdowns, going into the halftime, and he talking about, nah, Niners is going to win by 3, man. I'm telling you, Anton. I'm telling you, Anton. And boy, did he not call it. I just turned my phone off. I literally just turned my phone off. So we had it was a freak catch that they made and all of that. So it's just y'all time. It's just y'all time. I don't believe in making excuses. I think that the better team won because they won. It had to be the better team if they won. So congratulations to the 49ers. I actually hope that they go on to win the Super Bowl because I'd like for the team that beat us to wind up winning the Super Bowl so that we can show that we was actually worthy of being there. So we can show we should have been winning the Super Bowl in the first place. But shout out to that. It was a good game. I had a lot of people over here, so it was a really interesting day yesterday, which is one of the reasons why we had to push Stock Club over to Tuesday. But again, Stock Club is Tuesday for everybody that is in the Bag Chaser. So if you did not watch give you some time. If you did not watch the first Stock Club, it's uploaded on the Patreon. Go and watch it. Also tap into the Discord. It's linked in the description of that video. Tap in and watch the first one because if you don't watch the first one, you may not fully understand why we talking about what we talking about going into the second one. Stock Club is tomorrow between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern, probably like 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to post it today inside of the Patreon, the live stream link, so y'all be able to catch up on that. And then make sure that y'all tap into Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order, and the Q show tonight. Q show tonight is going to be popping. All right? Y'all ready to get started with the show and get it popping? Let me see what we got going on here. First of all, let me acknowledge the people on Cash App. Got to acknowledge my people. I already know who hit me on Cash App right away. Mike That Dude. Got to show love to my dog, Mike That Dude. Shout out to Mike That Dude on Cash App. I appreciate you going postal. I appreciate you. Towards Morgan, I appreciate. Shout out to everybody that told me. Daryl Pullins, I appreciate you on Cash App. Thank you, my friend. Also want to acknowledge a few super chats before we get started with the show. Kevin H says, "What up, though? Bang bang, nine a gang. Hashtag Bay Area. Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna let y'all celebrate. Congratulations. I used to be a sore loser. I'm not a sore loser. We had a great season, and I'm looking forward to next season. So I was going to try to make my way over to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens. Gotta love Silver. I knew I was going to hear this all day today. AD, are you okay? I know them Lions hurt you. No, they didn't hurt me. They played a great game. They competed all season. Lions look good going into next season. We got our coach. We feeling good. I feel good about the Lions. So, again, y'all just won. Y'all got the best of us yesterday. It was a really great game, but it's y'all time. It's just y'all time. So, shout out to everybody that all of the San Francisco. I mean, y'all city is still trash, but y'all football team is good. So shout out to y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. We got a lot to cover today. Before I get into the show, let me say this, because this has really been heavy on my heart, and I actually did a little bit of a vlog, but I didn't deep dive as far as I'm deep diving right now. Let me say this before we get started with the show, okay? I'm 41 years old, okay? And I've seen a lot in my lifetime. And I'm very, very blessed to have experienced some of the things that I've experienced financially, right? Becoming successful relatively when I first really got out of high school, a little bit after I got out of high school. Ultimately failing around the time that we had the recession around 2008, which is when my daughter was born. And at that time, I thought that it was the end of the road. Still in my early 20s. I was only 26 years old. And all of the things that I had learned, I applied that allowed for me to continue to be in the position that I am today. Being able to show you the receipts, showing you what it's like to really live the life that you're supposed to live. But I had to make sacrifices for well over 10 years before I really started spending money and showing you guys what it's like to live the lifestyle that I live. But even today, I do not spend even a fraction of what I generate. My lifestyle is still largely based off of the income that I generate just off of my passive income. Meaning that if everything went away today, we would still be great. We would still be okay. I spend less than 7% of what I generate on a regular basis. The rest of the money that's spent is spent from a business perspective. I don't have time to go into it today because I got a full show planned for you guys. But the rest of the money is spent focused on business, generating more income, throwing it all into real estate, throwing it all into my portfolios, throwing it all into reinvesting back into the businesses. And then I still have my job because I retired in 2019 right before the pandemic because I didn't know what the pandemic was going to happen. And then I got an offer that I couldn't refuse a little over a year later or something like that. I don't even remember. And it's funny because the bag chasers know how much I generate on my regular job, which is not the point of this rant right now or what I'm trying to teach you guys. But the bag chasers know how much I generate. And more importantly, I have about 8 streams of income, right? I was looking at a clip from Vlad last night with John Sally on there. John Sally is a former NBA player. He played till he was 36 years old. He played for the Detroit Pistons, the Los Angeles Lakers. He played for the Bulls. He got multiple different rings. And then he went on to do talk shows on BET and stuff like that and a couple different sports shows. I remember he was on this sports show called the Best D Sports Show and stuff like that. And he was saying that the average NBA player's career is only 3.5 years. Let me say that again. The average NBA player's career is only 3.5 years long. For football players, it could be exponentially lower. On top of that, you also have to factor in that most people don't make it to the league. But let's say you do make it to the league. a lot of times what we like to reference is the anomaly. So we'll reference the LeBron James that's playing till he's 40 years old. We'll reference the people that get these crazy contracts like the Damian Lillards, the Jason Tatums, the Giannis's, the Carl Anthony Towns, the Anthony Edwards, all of these superstars. But that's only a fraction of the people that generate the most money. For the majority of them, they only average about a 4-year lifespan in the league. And let's say you make a decent amount of money, but you still got to pay out based off of what you make. So let's say that you're still paying out, you still got to pay your agent, still got to pay your lawyers, still got to pay crazy taxes, all of these things, right? And they have a small window. Most of them are in their early 20s by the time they get washed out the league, because it's always a new set of guys that's coming in to replace you, right? And I'm referencing sports because I know that we're all familiar with sports to a little bit of an extent, especially when it comes to popular culture. Even if you don't follow the NBA, even if you don't follow the NFL, right? Most of these guys, you can go on to eBay right now. Literally, you can go on your phone to go to eBay right now, and you can go and purchase a NBA championship ring. You can purchase a Super Bowl ring, because that small window is supposed to carry them for the rest of their life. Now, let's really put it in perspective and say they worked their whole lives to potentially make it to the league, only to be washed out of the league within 3 to 4 years. And then they have to figure out what to do with the rest of their life after that, which most of them live their lifestyle based off of the money that they generate at that time. And even if you're a woman that wind up getting pregnant by one of these dudes, you got a small window by which he's actually going to be able to take care of you before his income drops significantly. And so you're not necessarily going to be a winner either, right? And I say all that to say this. Even us as regular people, we have a window of opportunity. It's content creators, it's people that go into corporate America, it's things that happen every day. You live life. You win, you lose. Most of these guys wind up being regular guys after they get out of the league. They got to get a regular job, all of this stuff, right? And so we go through the ups and downs of what life is. It's very hard making it as a content creator. Very few people actually have a window of opportunity to where they generate enough revenue, or they're significant enough and they don't fall out of favor with the general public. You know, me personally, I like to fashion myself as more of a Fabulous of the content creation game versus other people. You know, they could be the whatever, that person that was hot for a minute and then they go on the next day, right? It's a lot of people that take off and then they fall off. You never hear from them again, but I'm just that steady ship that just continues to rock out, right? And so I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very, very blessed. I've taken the opportunities that God has given me and I've maximized them all the way. And I say all that to say this. You never know what is going to happen every single day. I coach a lot of these guys, regular people, professional people. I coach current players in certain leagues. I also coach people that are retired from the league, right? And a lot of people, I'm telling you, they have no clue what they're going to do with their life. They get bored. They don't really realize that they have a smaller runway for how long that money is going to last them, especially based off of the lifestyle that they live in. They have a difficult time detaching themselves from the spotlight, and that they don't want to not be impressive to other people that they was impressed by, because if they see you working a regular job, then all of a sudden you nothing to them. Dang, homie, what happened to you, right? And it's unfortunate that we've created this culture where everybody is supposed to be rich, but nobody truly understands what it means to be financially successful long term. Because rich is not just the presentation layer. Rich is also your mindset, it's how it is that you live your life, and it's also making sure that you can sustain yourself for the rest of your life without having to worry about whether or not you're going to have a downturn, right? And so my advice to you guys is get a skill. Get a skill. Get something that you can always fall back on. No matter what happens, I'm always going to be able to go and make $500,000 a year. And some of you know my hacks. That's on the Patreon. Some of y'all watch those videos. Some of y'all know what I generate on my regular day job that I'm tied into right now, that I can work from anywhere in the world, and I'll always have this position. I'll always have this skill set. Get a skill that you can fall back on, because you never know what's going to happen. And the second thing is, do not change your lifestyle based off of the amount of money that you generate. If you are at the top of your field, if you're generating a lot of income, if you want to becoming a great, successful content creator and you leveraging the information inside of the Patreon to do whatever it is that you're doing, understand that you don't use that in order to continue to change the narrative of how it is that you're living your life. You use that in order to empower you to not have to worry about money for the rest of your life. So that's your window of opportunity to start really making some inroads to invest in the things that really matter. And this goes for people that are also regular people. A lot of y'all are going to get promotions. A lot of y'all are going to take the information that I give y'all inside of the Bag Chasers, or you're going to start changing your lifestyle based off of the standards that we set over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. And what you're going to do is you're going to think that it's cool for you to go out and buy a new BMW, go and get a new car, all of it. Listen, I stayed down for well over 10 years before I really started showing and spending money. I was living for free for well over 10 years before I started spending money. And I have been making and generating a lot of money. And even today, over 93%, almost 95% of everything that I make goes back into investments, goes into real estate. I don't do any financing. I generate a lot of revenue. And so you have to make sure that you don't have self-inflicted wounds. When you start doing these dumb stuff and these dumb things and you spending all of the money in order to make sure that you impress people that don't care about you, you are making some of the dumbest mistakes of your life. And the things that you do today, similar to if you invested in your 401k today, is going to determine the lifestyle that you live for the rest of your life. You don't want to mortgage your future. Trust me. You don't want to mortgage your future in order to make you feel good in your current situation. You want to make sure that you are very careful. You can have a great time. You can create realistic expectations and boundaries for what success is supposed to look like for you long term. Stop doing dumb stuff to impress people. Don't think that you are a bad person because you got a second job. If you want to go and get you an overnight job up there at Walmart stocking stuff so you can make sure you pay off your credit cards and then you can start investing in the future and stuff like that. If you want to make sure that you keep a regular job, even if your business is taking off, until your business makes too much money and it takes up too much of your time for you to be able to work that regular job. If you want to do both, you do both. But you make sure you minimize your lifestyle so you can generate the most revenue possible, and then you invest in assets that ultimately will carry you for the rest of your life. And I'm telling you as a person that has done it, it is absolutely imperative, especially if you are making a ton of money. If you are one of the lucky ones that generate a whole lot of money, you an athlete, whatever, so on and so forth, you got a small window, fam. It's some people like the Damian Lillards, the Steph Currys. They can make a living off of that. It's so many people that I know in real life that make a lot of money and they have no investments. There is so many people that I know that make a lot of money, some of the most significant people that you know, and they have no investments. If whatever it is that they did today, if they just got injured tomorrow, it would be over for them. It would be completely over for them. Some of them don't even got life insurance. Some of them don't even have life insurance. Their wives would be asked out if anything happened to them. Don't got life insurance, never taught their family a skill to where they would be able to survive, don't have nothing to pass on to their children. Their children going to be in the same boat trying to do the same thing that they was doing in order to try to make sure that they okay. And then you got that generational curse to where you die with debt and then somebody behind you going to have to suffer as a result of it. Trust me, make the sacrifice now. I'm telling you, there are people right now that make $750, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year. They probably going to make it over the next 3 or 4 years and they have zero investments. Everything that they doing is based off of generating revenue for that one thing. I'm always going to keep me 7, 8 forms of income. I'm always going to keep me multiple streams of income. Always and forever. And for everybody that sit there and they laugh, look at their situation. For everybody that criticized and said, oh man, I can't believe Anton still also got a regular job. Yep, and good health care coverage. And additional life insurance through that job that multiplies 10 times if anything ever happens to me that goes over my wife and kids. Also got dental coverage. Also got that great insurance. Also got that bonus and that equity that I haven't even fully pulled out yet is vested. Lots of different things that come with it. I got a lot of stuff, houses, real estate, businesses, all of that. Taught my chick how to build houses herself and manage our portfolio. She understands where all of the passwords are in order to get to all of the bank accounts, brokerage accounts, stocks, bonds, everything, right? Listen, when I say I'm richer than your favorite rapper, I'm not talking about just net worth and financial. I'm talking about mindset. Wealth is a mindset. Being able to generate revenue outside of whatever you do professionally is a mindset. Understanding how money works and how to multiply your money is a mindset. You got to transfer over from working hard and transfer over from just being a hustler to also thinking like a business, to understanding how business works, to understanding that you don't necessarily have to need a CPA in order to understand how money works. A CPA is an additional tool. A lawyer is an additional tool, but it does not remove you from having to have the responsibility of understanding what all is happening within your business and your finances. You got to be able to look over at them and say, hey, is this making sense? They're just a stopgap. They're a safety check. They're somebody that you have on your team in addition to. I have editors, but it doesn't mean that I don't know how to edit. I got lawyers, but it don't mean that I don't understand the law and when to apply it. I got accountants, but it don't necessarily mean that I don't understand exactly how money works and where it is that I'm supposed to leverage my resources. I got tax strategists, but it don't mean that I'm not already prepared for what it is that I'm supposed to spend in 2024. I understand bookkeeping. I understand real estate. It don't mean that I don't have advisors. It don't mean that I don't have architects, right? I can do it on my own. I know exactly how to do carpentry because I've built out I've built entire restaurants from scratch. We was there. I know how to do roofing. It don't mean that I ain't got a roofer, right? I understand when I look at him and I'm seeing him on that roof, I know that he doing it the right way, or if he not doing it the right way, and if he cutting corners, because I'm intimately familiar with exactly the processes. This is why I went through the process of not just investing in real estate, but I took the opportunity to build a house from scratch, and now we duplicating the process. I told y'all even in the Patreon, I knew I was going to lose some money on the front end on some of these deals, but now I was even looking at it and I was going over it with some of my people yesterday. And I'm already $150,000 above what the asking price is or what the market price is. And I got the best house in the subdivision of the house that's next to me, which was recently built in 2021. So the value of that house is $150,000 more than what it took for them to build it, right? And so I know what the cost is that I'm building my house for, and I'm not even selling it. I'm just holding on to it, and it's still appreciating. But my point is because I understand money, I understand wealth, I understand the mindset. This watch right here, okay, so Anton, you spent, I don't even remember, $45,000, $50,000 for this watch, but it was just a small smidget of what it is that I had available in order to go and buy. And on top of that, because I got a business mindset, this watch is worth more than what I paid for it new. So my point is that as you continue to grow, as you continue to evolve, as you get money, also evolve here. Become more knowledgeable and understand wisdom, right? You can get as much knowledge as you possibly can, but it does not mean that you have the wisdom to understand how to use it. It's a lot of people that know how to get money, but they don't have the wisdom to know how to keep it and multiply it. When y'all pray in the morning, stop asking for stuff. Stop asking for a man. Stop asking for women. Stop asking for more money. Stop asking for things and pray to God for wisdom. Pray for him, his humility, what he's going to put into you. Ask him what is it that he wants you to do, because he's going to give you what you need in order to be successful. And then seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything else, and he'll and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. You don't have to worry about the money aspect of it if you asking for God's wisdom, because it just naturally comes with it. Right? He's going to give you the character that you need in order to carry you so you don't fumble the bag when you get to certain spaces in your life. He's going to give you the wisdom to understand how to move a little bit differently around people and get situational awareness so you don't have to fumble and then have to recover from losing everything, because you don't always have to go through it in order to learn a lesson. Right? He's going to give you the mindset to understand that you don't put anything first before your purpose, because that's the thing that's also ultimately going to give the people that's behind you, the people that follow you, the people that's submissive, that's going to give them what they need in order to be successful also. He's going to show you how to go about doing things a little bit differently if you truly understand what the word is, right? So all I'm saying is that we all have a window of opportunity, and we will never live forever, and we all gonna get old, we all gonna get slower, we all gonna, whatever happens, because life is lifing. But it does not mean that you cannot go through life making wise decisions that ultimately not only you, but the people that surround you gonna benefit from. So I just wanted to give you that because I'm tired of seeing people go broke. I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of seeing people going through it and they don't have to. You don't have to. All you got to do is make more informed decisions. And when you get done, right? Let's say you buy that car, that new thing, that 2024, whatever. Don't you know that the old Rolls Royce look like the old Rolls Royce now? Everything is going to get old. And I'm not telling you to not get nice things, but I'm telling you to be wise in your decisions. Because the same way that we was looking TVs in the headrest in 2008 and 2007 with the Hot Boys, that junk is old now and nobody cares. I want to see what's in your 401k. What's in your retirement account? What stocks do you have? Are you a part of stock club that we doing tomorrow night? Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about some grown man business. That's what I'm talking about. This is grown man business. This ain't for the children. This ain't for the street dudes that's trying to keep it real. This ain't for dudes that's crashing out and trying to go to jail. This ain't for the tricks that's flying people in and ain't getting no money with them and none of that. This is grown man business. We talking about making sure that you're going to be good for the rest of your life. Health, wealth, business, taking care of things. Push me the same way that I'm going to push you. Because that's who you need around you. You don't need people that enable you to be an idiot. You need people around you that's going to help you to become the best version of yourself. This is grown man business. This ain't victim Olympics and reparations. We don't care about that. We care about taking care of grown man business because my daughter can't depend on reparations. My daughter need her father. My daughter need me in order to make sure that she's not going to have no student loans. My daughter need me to make sure that she ain't begging Biden in order to forgive her student loans. My daughter need me in order to make sure that I vet for her having a right man in her life. This is grown man business right here. This ain't none of that weak junk that y'all talking about. This ain't gossiping right now. We got time for gossip. We gonna get there. We got after hours for that to talk about cultural differences. We can talk about relationships and all of that stuff, but this is grown man business. Wealth is a mindset. Grown man business. We not on that nonsense no more. We off that. We too old to be out here stuck, broke, and begging for the federal government, hoping that Social Security don't run out and that inflation don't continue to go up in order for us to be able to survive. I got some stories today that's going to break your heart. Crime, migrants, people are getting evicted. It's an eviction crisis that's happening right under everybody's nose and nobody is talking about it. People getting evicted while they out here stunting on Instagram, acting like they getting all of the money. They getting evicted. You can give me a hug. You all right?
Yeah.
All right, let me know how I do.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the show. Rita had to stop me and say, because she got a doctor's appointment, be careful. Grown man business. This is grown man business, all right? Y'all ready to get to the show? Let's get to the show then. I'm going to read Super Chats after Quick Hits. Quick Hits, ladies and gentlemen, is a segment of the show that we make sure that we go ahead and we tap in and keep you informed of what's happening across the United States of America and how that's affecting you personally. Y'all ready? First thing on Quick Hits is Biden is threatening to close the border if Congress doesn't act the way that he wants them to act. Check it out.
As the influx of migrants continues at the southern border, Washington hoping a deal to stem the tide could be close.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly.
President Biden and lawmakers working on a bipartisan deal to expand the president's authority at the border. Lawmakers hopeful it can pass.
We do have a bipartisan deal. We're finishing the text right now.
This despite former President Trump opposing the deal.
I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. A bad bill you can't have.
Mr. Trump condemning the deal in a flurry of Truth Social posts over the weekend, claiming without evidence there will be major terror attacks if migrants continue to come in. Other Republicans pushing back.
So essentially, what it looks like is happening right now is that Biden is battling with Congress, other legislative branches, and they all basically leveraging this migrant crisis and open borders in order to get what they want in whatever part of the deal. As far as I know, and as far as what it is that I've been studying, what's happening in Welch Street Gaming and everybody that's in the chat, shout out to everybody that just joined. What's basically happening is The president wants unprecedented monies to continue to flow through Ukraine, Taiwan for the semiconductor chip war, or the chip war that they're having over with China, and Israel, right? And then some other things that he wants money for. Republicans, Congress at large, are basically battling because they want more money and they want allocation in order to close off our borders. In the meantime, the American people are the ones that are suffering for whatever it is that they're arguing back and forth, and even the deals that they got going on behind closed doors. My biggest problem is that I don't necessarily have a problem with Biden saying, hey, y'all not going to get what y'all want if I don't want it. But the problem with that is that there's some things that's fundamental and that you just supposed to do your job regardless, right? There shouldn't be any kind of leveraging the crisis at the border in order to get what you want inside of your legislative victories to make sure that you have your legacy cemented, right? The border is that goes without any kind of dedication to either side. Making sure that you protect the border is not supposed to be a Republican or a Democrat issue. Protecting American soil and making sure that you do the best thing in the interest of the people that's here is not supposed to be across party lines. That's something that's just supposed to be normal. You're just supposed to protect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when did every single thing inside of our legislative branches become divided across party lines? You telling me we don't have nothing that we all agree on? We don't even agree on the idea that you're supposed to put America first or Americans first? We don't agree with making sure that we secure our borders and that our cities is not overrun? I got a story today, and I'm going to break down Denver, because that's the whole theme of this show, a little later in the show, where Denver only has a little over 700,000 people, but they've already gotten over 40,000 migrants. Denver only has 700 and something thousand people, but they've already have over 40,000 migrants and counting. So, yeah, he's threatening to basically close down the border and fix the border if he gets his way. But I think that that's disrespectful to the American people. Also, this week, the Apple Vision Pro is shipping this week. There are reports that the first initial report that I got was that Apple was only going to allocate 80,000, between 80 and 120,000 units available for sale in its first run. But now there's reports that's coming out that's saying that Apple has sold anywhere from 160,000 to 180,000 Vision Pro units during its first pre-order weekend, and that number has exceeded easily over 250,000 of them. They start off at $3,500. It's Apple's mixed reality Vision Pro headset, and it flew off the pre-order shelves over opening weekend. It sold out of its existing stock, according to reports published on Medium. And based off of inventory shipping times, they estimate that Apple sold anywhere between 160 and 180,000 units. I ordered it. They actually are supposed to be opening for delivery, and they're supposed to hit shelves to where you can possibly test them inside of the Apple stores on the 2nd of February. Mine is supposed to be getting delivered on the 2nd of February, so I ordered it the first day that it came out. My set cost $4,600. And that's partially because I got a whole bunch of stuff to go along with it. I upgraded to the 1 terabyte one, the biggest one that you can get. I also ordered the case for it. I ordered the prescription glasses for it. So I will keep you guys informed on what's going on with that. But yep, I did order mine, and I should have mine on this Friday. And I'll review it for you. I'll even reveal it on the Millionaire Morning Show. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about it and stuff like that, but I want to leverage it and figure out how it is that I can even put it in the hands of some of the developers that I have to see what they can do with it and see what use cases we can use it for, and also explore it, because I think that a lot of people are always going to say what they're not going to do. But guess what? A lot of people said that they wasn't going to have smartphones. And a lot of people said that they wasn't going to have Apple Watches. And a lot of people said that they wasn't going to do a lot of things. But guess what? They all eventually adapt to it. And so change, you have to be at the forefront of change and determining what change looks like, instead of being at the back end and having people tell you what it is that you are going to do in order for you to evolve or even be able to keep the jobs that you have. So, yep, the Vision Pro is shipping this week. I'll have mine on Friday, and we'll see how that goes. And then last but not least on Quick Hits, Microsoft lays off over 1,900 people from its gaming division. Take a look, y'all.
Microsoft cutting almost 2,000 jobs at Activision Blizzard and Xbox as the tech landscape resets. What is the story now for startups? That's the focus of today's Tech Check with our Deirdre Bosa. Morning, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. It has just been a brutal year so far for tech workers, and behind the scenes at these private startups, it is even worse. Former Silicon Valley darlings like Brex recently cut a fifth of its workforce, Discord 17% of its. I sat down this morning with VC and founder Jack Abraham of Atomic, who thinks that 2024 will be the year of the mass extinction event for startups as cash dries up. Have a listen.
If you look at the data at the end of last year, so December timeframe, 2/3 of all of the startup companies had less than a year of runway left in the bank. That's really concerning. So during boom times, companies tend to raise debt. It's very easy to raise. Companies are now tapping into that debt. A lot of them are actually out of their equity capital. And all of a sudden, those debtors can come up and they can say, hey, we need to be paid back. And companies can get caught in a really tough spot. So this year, we're certainly going to see some sort of a mass extinction event as companies run out of capital. Sometimes that will involve wind down. Sometimes that'll almost put companies on what venture capitalists like to refer to as a zombie path, a zombie company, which is slim it down, don't take sort of the press hit from it.
So one of the reasons why Apple is cutting out 1,900 jobs is because they call it synergies. All right. And this is why I think it's also good that we push Stock Club over to Tuesday evening, because we're going to get all of the earnings reports from Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all of the big tech companies. It's earnings season that's coming in, and then we can adjust our portfolios accordingly. Right. And then I got some dark horses, and I also want to get into the hospitality industry and stuff like that inside of Stock Club. So that should be fun for all of the Patreon members that's in the description. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But they call it synergies. And synergies, Microsoft recently acquired Activision Blizzard, which is a gaming company. And what synergies is their ability to be able to slim down and do more with less. So let's say, for example, they have two HR departments, one for Activision Blizzard and then another one for Microsoft, right? You don't need redundancies. You don't need everybody doing the same thing over and over again when you've already established protocols or you already have methods by which everybody can then tap in and do something, right? You don't need 100 trainers to all teach you the same thing that they have on SharePoint, right? Shout out to all of my SharePoint developers and users. SharePoint or they have a portal to do the training that they need to do in order to make sure that they meet certain regulations for them to exist in certain environments, right? You don't need that because they've already developed it on Microsoft. They can get rid of it on Activision side, and then they can just merge what they need in order to make sure that they become even more efficient or bigger or more dominant in that space, right? So on top of that, you're also right after holiday season. So I think in the spring is around the time that they start to ramp up, where they start to figure out where they need to fill certain holes. It'll be a lot of things that's in cybersecurity. It'll be a lot of developers. They didn't name which specific divisions that they cut out or who they laid off specifically. But the gaming division is where all of the cuts are, not in software developers, not in all of this other type of stuff. A lot of it was jobs that you didn't really need, I guess, and they had to get rid of it. So just be careful. Even if you're making money in certain industries and certain environments, it's not enough, in my opinion, to just have a 6 months emergency fund saved up. And then when that run out and you got to start building that up and it take you another 2 years to get a 6 months emergency savings build up and stuff. Listen, I get it. That's for people that's just getting into the game. I'm talking about people that'll thrive. You want to have multiple streams of income. You want to make sure that, and this is the stuff that they're not talking about. They still living off of, and respect to Dave Ramsey, I love him, but they're still living off of the idea that you can have one job, work 40 hours. Maybe your wife is working part-time. She's a secretary at the church. And you want to have 6 months of emergency savings and $1,000 just in case of. No, that's out, fam. That's out. We're not depending on one thing or one job or one anything in order to make sure we straight. We're going to lower our lifestyle. We're not going to continue to build. We're not going into debt. We're not using credit cards. We're not going to have a 6 months emergency savings. We're going to have a portfolio that generates revenue, and we're not going to have to depend on the entirety of our salary in order to continue to run it up, right? So I got a different investing philosophy. I got a different mindset, but, that's just me in particular. But ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get it popping with the real show. I got a great show lined up for you guys today. Most hated and underrated is in the building, says, well, Detroit was good. Then the 49ers came and Kano, that backside. Don't feel, oh, I know y'all was nervous, though. Come on. Let's stop that. Let's stop acting like y'all wasn't out there shaking in y'all boots. Y'all thought it was over at halftime. Y'all thought y'all had to go in there and get some motivation, take some PEDs. You know what I'm saying? Take some shots, some adrenaline shots. We need to get y'all tested after the game. But y'all was broken. That whole fan base was looking like they was about to go home right then and there. Don't feel bad. We have unfinished business. Better luck next year. Niners Nation Super Bowl bound. Okay. Celebrate for now. I'm with it. David Williams says, give up the Pistons season tickets for the Lions? No. I am a basketball fanatic, but I don't know. I might not renew it all, so we're not even going to add that. Jeremy H. is saying, average major league soccer career spans 8 to 10 years and makes between $500,000 and $3 million per year, and you don't have to be 6 foot plus. But here's the problem with that, Jeremy H., and shout out to you for the super chat. Most people don't make it into being a major league soccer player. You're not guaranteed to be Ronaldo out there. Most people never make it to get that. You know how many soccer players, you know how many people are dedicated across the globe to playing soccer, and they never even come close to it. You have to be a super athlete to get there. Yushena says, keep doing your thing. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for holding me down. Marcus X says, picked up 2 side jobs, extra $2,000 bi-weekly, but don't change your lifestyle. Don't change your lifestyle. Use that money and invest it or pay off your debt first. Jay Boogie is in the buildings, says, incredible. I appreciate you, Jay Boogie, for holding me down. Seeing value what we do over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. Tommy Artful says, spiritually based advice, wonderful. Thank you. No, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Misty Sparks is in the building, says, Flintstone here. Shout out to my Flintstones in the building, says, Luddy, thank you for the inspirational lift up and speaking the truth. No, thank you. I appreciate you, Misty, for holding me down also. My dog, Chris J, says, Apple just racked up $630 million minimum just like that. Listen, it's a part of my portfolio. I actually like Meta a little bit better and Microsoft even the best. Thank you, Chris. Quentin is in the building. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Oh, Quentin. You know what? I told him earlier in the stream. I said Quentin said Quentin said by 3 when it was down by 14. And you were right. And I got to hear from him tonight on the Q show, so make sure y'all tune into the Q show. I'm not giving him no ding. Skip Quentin, y'all. McColl's Wellness in Motion. Shout out to McColl. Says, blessing AD and the Bag Chasers for tithes and offerings. Appreciate the contents. Oh, and I told him, hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. I knew I was going to have to hear from y'all today. Shout out to Chris J. Says, oh, and told you the Lions weren't beating the Niners. Oh, my. Y'all said that every round. Y'all said that we wasn't beating nobody. Jamal Fowler says, peace to you in the chat. Shout out to Jamal. I appreciate you, my friends. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's go ahead and get it popping really quickly. So we're going to start off with crime before we head over to Denver. We got to deal with housing, and then we got to talk about AI restaurants. All right, where should our money be going? Investments. We got to get to the bag. The first thing that we got to talk about is what's happening out here in these streets, man. Here we go. Let's rock.
Of armed robberies across the city.
All of the victims were walking as men got out of a car, according to police, and attacked them at gunpoint. CBS 2's Marissa Perlman is live in Lakeview right now, where one of those robberies took place. Marissa?
All right, good morning to both of you. This latest string of robberies all across the city with seemingly no neighborhood connection, but happening within mere minutes of each other. The first one, as you said, happening here off of Diversey near Lakeview East. A man and a woman were crossing the sidewalk when they were attacked. Now, again, we're talking about 3 robberies in less than an hour, Lakeview, Old Town, and South Loop. In all 3 of the robberies, 4 men jumped out of a black sedan. Here on Diversey, they forced the man to the ground. He was hit with a handgun. The 4 suspects took their phones and wallets and took off. Now, less than 20 minutes later, off of Weed Street in Old Town, another robbery. 2 women were on the sidewalk when 4 men jumped out of a black car and took their phones and purses. Thankfully, in this situation, they were not hurt. A half hour later, a final robbery. This time, the victim was a 55-year-old man walking on the sidewalk. Once again, 4 men jumped out of a black sedan, hit the victim in the face with a gun, and stole his wallet and backpack before taking off. Now, in each of these robberies, police say there is no one in custody. They are investigating, and police have not said if they believe all of these robberies are connected. We'll be working.
Now, a couple key things here that I want y'all to parse out of this situation, because it's not enough to just say, oh man, every night is overnight robberies in Chicago. A couple different things that I want y'all to take out of this, okay? The first thing that I want y'all to take from this is that this is happening to the most vulnerable people amongst us. It's happening to anybody, but it seems like it's easier for them to target people that are vulnerable. 55-year-old man, 2 women walking, and nobody should have to be with their head on a swivel. That would be the ideal thing, but I want y'all to be safe out here. I want y'all to understand that regardless of how mad people over in Chicago get mad at me, this is something that's happening prevalently in Chicago on a regular basis. And so I know I have a lot of watchers. We study the analytics. We look at what's happening across all of our social media platforms. We have a lot of people that tune in that's in the Illinois and the Chicago area to watch the show. It ain't sweet out here. Overnight, whole sprees of robberies that's happening across Chicago and its metro area. Women are not safe out here by themselves, regardless of how you feel like feminism has empowered you to be the strongest, toughest woman. They are coming out here, they laying you on the ground, they hitting you with the butt of the gun, they beating you in the head, they taking your phone, they taking your stuff, and they pulling up in the car and you never even seen them coming. You think that you're going to be walking down the street and you're going to be able to spot them and then make a U-turn and then go across the street or go and get in your car or lock your doors and just drive off. That's not how it works. Sometimes y'all stop at the stop sign and they pull up in the car and they putting that pistol in your face, and then ain't nothing that you're going to do as a result of it. And they robbing the Lyft drivers. They robbing the Uber drivers. They robbing everybody. And so y'all got to be very, very careful. This is not a go off on Chicago situation. I go across and I look at crime that's happening all across the United States of America. And what I found is the most egregious crimes that's being reported, and if you don't like it, then go and talk to the people that's doing all of the crime and the robbing. The most egregious crimes that's being reported is usually happening in Houston and Chicago and even in Broward County. All right, so if I see other things that's happening more egregious that I feel like I need to warn the people about, then I will bring that to the front of the congregation. But for right now, they are robbing multiple different people over in Chicago. Also, there's a child that was found inside a Walmart that was freezing, and I believe the worker got fired as a result of it. Take a look.
A 5-year Walmart employee here in the metro loses her job for posting a video that has gone viral.
Felicia Darling says when the child entered the Byram store last week during record-breaking cold temperatures wearing only a diaper, well, she had to do something. I spoke to her tonight, and she says she knew she had to do something quick. Felicia Darling said something to the mother, as did a male customer. Here's some of the interaction.
He came in here without that jacket on. Yeah, he did. That baby just had a pamper on. That's all he got on. He's sitting there shaking down. I can't.
He's just an innocent soul. He didn't ask to be here. So I took action and I started recording her. In the video.
Now look at the mama. Listen. Because they going to cuss you out. And they got on jeans, a sweater, a bonnet, whatever it is that they got on. And they going to cuss you out. Look at her.
So I took action and I started recording her.
So that's the mama. The kid, which is allegedly 5 years old, is came in record-breaking freezing temperatures, sitting in the basket, only had a pamper on when they came in, freezing, neglected, and they feeling, and think about this. This is not just, imagine what happens behind closed doors when they not in public. Imagine what happens when they behind closed doors and they not in public. But they feel so empowered to do what they want to do that they are basically doing this right in front of your eyes. And if you say something, you're going to get fired about it. And I dare you to say something. I dare you to say something. I dare you to say something. Now, because I'm an equal accountability smoke giver, what they'll then say is when they clip this up and they put this on Instagram or TikTok and they say, Anton is always going off on women. No, we're holding the ones that are doing the most egregious things inside of our environment and our communities accountable, because you cannot have your child in a pamper coming in the store, shopping in Walmart in the freezer section, and they freezing and they wet inside of the basket, sitting in the regular part of the basket. And then you going off on the people that's holding you accountable for having your kid out there looking like a fool. This is the environment that we live in today. And the employee got fired. The employee got fired.
In the video, she throw cold food on the baby.
Yeah, don't do that.
And he sadly just looked down.
Somebody call police on her.
It seemed like in his eyes, he was just looking for help. He was crying out for help.
Get out there, man.
A man was telling her, you throwing cold food on the baby. She walks off and swerves.
Yeah, don't do that. Somebody call police.
No, what's wrong with you?
Somebody call police on her.
Who are you? Lord, my voice. Lower your voice. Who are you?
Get out there, man. Get out there, man. Please.
Crazy.
So, I just graduated out of here.
That's somebody mama, y'all. Somebody hit that. No father in sight. That's somebody's mama. And more importantly, that's her son that's going to grow up with that generational trauma. And then he's going to grow up and he's going to be what he's going to be. The mama is going to be moved on and lived her life. And then we going to be holding him accountable. He going to be calling up to my show, right, when he's 20. And he's going to be saying, Anton, I can't believe you did this and this and that, and so on and so forth. And he's going to get pissed at me. And he's going to be mad at me because he's not used to seeing what a man looks like. And he's used to being trained on what his mama is doing inside of the grocery store, brought him in there freezing cold. God willing that he survives. But if he then becomes a part of the prison industrial system, we'll hold black men accountable and we'll say, and we'll use it as an insult and we'll say, well, who hurt you? You need to get that fixed. Nobody is ever going to hold his mama accountable. We never going to have that conversation. The only thing that we going to say is that men need to be better in order to make sure that we protecting these queens. Don't you know that protection is also holding people accountable? Because we're not trying to protect the child. Y'all only want to protect the woman. I see so many people that come in my comments and think that I'm crazy because I hold people accountable that do the worst things for society. They skip right over when I hold the men accountable. And then when we hold the women accountable because this has happened and then somebody had to lose their job because they recorded it, because they wanted to bring visibility to what's happening inside of their own stores and their communities, and she was twerking in front of the kid, guess what? You think she gonna lose her kid? I guarantee you she don't. I guarantee you she don't. I guarantee you we spend more time making sure that they get a pathway to make sure that they can hold their own kids instead of holding them accountable for how it is that they're supposed to be raising the kids. I guarantee you she don't.
What the hell? Somebody call the police on her.
Go ahead, CPS already called 2 times. I keep paying. So long as you got hot water, fire extinguisher.
But when you come in the store full of dress and your baby's not.
Now, I'm going to call the cops right now.
A customer in a riding shopping cart purchases.
That's crazy. That is crazy. You have to have another customer. This is my first time seeing this video. So most of the stuff that y'all see me look at, unless it's money related, you see me reacting to for the first time. A customer had to go and purchase a shirt for the child in order for the child to stop freezing inside of the, man, that's crazy. Adults can't even go into the store without shirt, shoes, and some sandals on. This is insane. This is insane. Unreal. And I know Mike Jones that she got her child taken away from her, but guess what? You don't think that she's going to get him back? I guarantee you she get him back. I'm going to pay attention to this story specifically. I'm going to write it in my notes and I'm going to watch it. I guarantee you she get her kid back.
Is an outfit for the boy and dresses him while the mother flips through her phone.
After the lady in the riding cart put the outfit on the baby, she walks out of Walmart and started walking to her car. Was walking to her car, a cop was walking behind her, and they arrested her and they took the baby. They took the baby and CPS was called.
26-year-old Cambria Darby was arrested and charged with child neglect. Child Protective Services released the child to a family member.
Not to the father. I want to be very, very clear. Not to the father. They released the child to a family member. To a family member. Not the father coming picking him up. Not because, see, if it was a father in the home, none of this would even be happening in the first place.
Byram police say Darby has bonded out. We reached out to Walmart after Darling was fired. This is their statement in full. Quote, "We share the concern others have for the child in the video in our store in Jackson, Mississippi. We don't discuss personnel matters involving current or former associates."
We ain't even got to read what rest of that because we already know that this is just a regular statement. This don't mean nothing other than to say, yeah, man, we got to protect ourselves legally and we had to fire this person because they made us look bad. They didn't. It honestly just break my heart, man. It break my heart. And I can't ignore it because the less visibility we have, the less likely you are to hold people accountable that you see doing similar things that lead to these same results. It can't just be me. It can't just be me because we all know somebody in real life that operate just like this. We all know somebody in real life that got one too many kids, even if they only got one kid. They got one too many kids and they not fit to be a parent and there's no father in sight inside of that household. At all. We know too many people like this, and this is not normal. This is only normal. This is normalized within our own communities. We just now got the cameras to bring visibility to it so I can bring it to y'all attention. Also, on top of that,
prosecutors in Queens expected the man accused of killing 14-year-old Amir Griffin to accept a plea deal, but the suspected gang member changed his mind and decided to go to trial instead.
Amir killed by a stray bullet while playing basketball at a playground in Jamaica back in 2019.
Eyewitness News reporter Joe Torres live at the Queens Criminal Court in Kew Gardens with our lead story. Joe?
Sandra and Bill, after laying out all the evidence before the accused, investigators here in Queens were convinced that Sean Brown today would plead guilty to the murder of Amir Griffin, so much so that the Queens District Attorney herself came to the courtroom to see it. Well, that never happened. Something else happened, and our camera was the only one in the courtroom to capture it.
Come to order, please.
Accused killer Sean Brown walked into Queens Criminal Court this afternoon and gave no sign of the stunning decision he had up his sleeve. With the Queens District Attorney and her team of investigators in court, Brown's lawyer told Judge Kenneth Holder her client will not plead guilty to the fatal shooting of 14-year-old Amir Griffin. He will take the case to trial.
It's a process, and he's entitled to the process, and he's going to take that opportunity. And so here we are. I mean, everybody is entitled to their day in court, and he wants his.
On October 26, 2019, a bullet struck and killed Amir Griffin as he played basketball at the Baisley Park houses in Jamaica. Investigators said the alleged shooter tried to kill a rival gang member, but in a case of mistaken identity, shot the innocent teenager instead. During a
I hate this culture. I hate everything about this culture. I hate that the culture hate me. I hate that it's somebody's son tomorrow and today and the next day and the next day and the next day after that and this month And when the weather break, it's going to be summertime, and it's going to be more killings, and somebody's daughter is going to get bust down, and somebody's son is going to get shot. And then the ones that survive and that wind up robbing him, they're going to go on Instagram and they're going to be having a money phone and they're going to be flaunting it. I hate everything about that culture because it ain't even my culture. I hate everything about the culture. I hate the fact that he could even sit there and take his day in court and decide that he don't want to plead guilty and that we all just hold it down. And he gonna have some people that got more support for him than the people that got some support for me. They will sit there and say, Anton, you a lame for never going to jail. And they will have free t-shirts, free Ray, free whoever he is t-shirts, free Sean, while they running around polluting our streets, killing your sons and busting down your daughters. I hate everything about this culture. I hate everything about this culture. Everything about it. And don't tell me that it's wrong to hate, because it's not wrong to hate. I hate pedophiles. I hate this trash culture that we continue to promote. I hate that woman that was sitting there. I hate the behavior of that woman that was sitting there bringing her kid inside a Walmart with no clothes on and had the nerve to twerk in front of people. I hate everything about it. I hate it. And you going to sit there smoking your trees talking about free Ray. Everything about this culture is trash. And you'll say F the police, but you won't say F the person that killed your son with a stray bullet because it was a mistaken identity and your son was just trying to play basketball in the park. You won't hold him accountable, but you will hold the police accountable for not catching him fast enough, right?
A news conference in March of last year, the DA said following Amir's death, a feud between gangs resulted in 22 more shootings, one of them fatal. A 3-year investigation resulted in a 151-count indictment against 33 reputed gang members. According to prosecutors, one of those gang members was Sean Brown, who apparently told investigators he would enter a guilty plea and accept the ensuing 30-year prison sentence. And then today happened. The end result for the 21-year-old could ultimately be even more time behind bars.
For the murder of Amir Griffin, Sean Brown is facing 25 years. For carrying a gun, he's facing 15 years. His exposure is 40 years to life. He's chosen to go to trial. We have an extremely strong case, and we look forward to presenting the evidence.
I hope they throw him under the jail. I hope that he never get out. I hope that, man, let me just be quiet, bro, because I'm going to wind up saying something. Because, see, this is the Millionaire Morning Show. And I want to make sure that I respect the churches and the daycares and the people that's working from home, that's on their meeting, that just so happen to get distracted by what we got going on over here. Make sure you keep us on the TV. I got you. I'm not going to say nothing crazy. Shout out to all of the people in the shops and the people that's at the pit stops and all of that. I got y'all. I just don't like the culture. I don't like it. And if you with me and you don't like the culture, then hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, man. Turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to get to the other part of the show. Because we got a lot to cover today, y'all. Omar says, Anton, you speaking the truth regarding not living your life defensively. Also, I sent you an email about that reoccurring coaching session. All right, bet. I got you, Omar. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for supporting the platform. Shout out to Pookie's friend Ray says, I got a new side hustle so I can get a Camaro and a... Regime says, got to bring Detroit to the front of the congregation. We expected to see y'all in the final dance for that Week 1 rematch. We expected to see that when we beat the Chiefs in the Week 1 thing also, but it wasn't our time. It's San Francisco's time. Chris says, look on the bright side. They ain't the Pistons. You got that right. But the Pistons was winning when the Lions was trash, so we going to see what happened. Pookie's friend Ray says, Black Woken complained until the lady got fired. And ain't nobody out here advocating for the girl to get her job back at Walmart. Y'all are march on. Man, let me be quiet. Jay Ben says, Walmart don't play about their employees being in the media. The minute they catch you being humane, that job gets snatched and given to a migrant. My boy got fired from LP. Lost prevention before his YouTube blew up. You know, I know what LP means. Regime said that chicks that these ninjas raw out. Shout out to Regime. J-Rock 24K says, Jack's boys out in this 305 this tourist season. Stay on the other side of that bridge. You ain't got to tell me twice. I like being when I'm appreciated, where they want to get my business. LeGarrette says she also just had a baby 5 months ago, too. Man, ain't there some kind of law where we can have people's tubes tied up or something like that before they can have more kids if they have too many kids and they can't take care of them? Time Out says, I agree anytime she'll get the kid back. If they can interview women that are homeless with 5+ kids, this story is nothing. And I bet you she on social services. My dog J Ben says, men need to quit clapping and feeling mental pain. I agree, but you can't stop everybody from doing it. Chris J says, doing the right thing cost this woman her job. It's sad. RTT says, my man, I talk about the toxicity of the culture all the time. Thanks for you continuing to make us aware. Shout out to my man Josh. Shout out to Josh. Tell Josh I said what up. All right, y'all ready to continue over with the show? I told y'all we got a whole full show today. Fani is under fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
In breaking news at this hour, the state Senate will now conduct their own investigation into allegations that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis had an improper relationship with one of her top prosecutors. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon live at the courthouse for us downtown. Doug, lay out today's developments.
Right, Tracy. Well, this was approved this morning. It will be made up of 9 state senators who are Republicans and 3 who are Democrats. They're going to have subpoena power, which is really kind of the rub here, because that will allow them to demand documents and also testimony from people like Fani Willis and the man she is alleged to have been in that improper relationship with, her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So as we mentioned, that was approved by senators this morning. It was proposed just last week, so that process went relatively rapidly. What they won't have the power to do, though, is remove her from office. Instead, what will happen here is they will issue a report detailing their findings on that alleged relationship and any financial mismanagement of taxpayer dollars. It could lead to law changes and even a severe defunding of state dollars to Willis's office. We have a budget coming up soon. Keep that in mind. We also learned today that a Fulton County ethics panel will be conducting their own investigation into these accusations. And Republican State Senator Charlize Byrd introduced articles of impeachment against Willis also today, which Georgia State law professor Clark Cunningham says could be a real problem for Willis, with Republicans having the numbers there.
The Georgia Constitution just says the House has the power of impeachment. So there's no definition. I would be surprised if the House doesn't pass articles of impeachment against her.
And Clark told us today there is one way for Willis to hold on to this case and make sure it stays in her office. He wrote an op-ed in the New York Times about it. We're going to pick his brain on that coming up at 4:30. For now, we're outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
So essentially, she's going to be investigated by a panel. This is what this is saying. She's going to be investigated. The investigation will not lead to her losing her job. So regardless of how you feel about her, and regardless of whether or not they find wrongdoing, which obviously just based off of optics alone, this is wrongdoing, in no corporate setting, and this is the problem with public tax dollars, this is a problem with public office, this is a problem across the board. In no setting that I have ever been able to witness, can you hold on to your job when you have bad optics like this and misappropriation of funds that you're allocating towards a person that's busting you down when they are still married. Listen, the Walmart girl just got fired for holding a woman accountable on camera for bringing her kid in there freezing cold in some of the lowest temperatures in the year so far. And she got fired from Walmart. And you have a person that is responsible for upholding the law and determining who's going to be prosecuted and what charges can be brought up against who, and a jury of your peers or in court sessions, including the President of the United States. And we've obviously over several weeks have discovered wrongdoing and even bad optics with regard to who it is that she's paying and who it is that she's going on vacation with. The wife, the ex-wife, that hasn't even finished her divorce proceedings, is claiming wrongdoing in their marriage, and we are still unable to hold this woman accountable. We have to go over law in order to hold the woman accountable that's determining where the monies is getting allocated that's budgeted for her office. Even if they lower the amount of money that they give to her budget, it's not going to affect her bag. It ain't going to affect how much money she making. I wonder how much money she making. Let me see something. Fani Willis salary. This can't be right. No way this is accurate. No way that this is accurate. Impossible. No way that this is accurate. You got to be kidding me. Hold on, fam. I don't believe it. I don't believe it even a little bit. No way. You can't sell me on it. It's got to be wrong. Let me just share it. I don't believe that this is accurate, but I'm going to share it. Because I don't believe everything that's on the internet. Graduate of Howard University and Emory University School of Law. Began her legal career as a prosecutor, gained recognition for her role in the Atlanta Public Schools cheating scandal case. Goes on to say, hold on, let me see if I can close this out because I got all of this crap down here. Goes on to say, 2020, secured a significant electoral victory, defeating six-term incumbent to become district attorney. High-profile cases have marked her tenure, notably investigation into Donald Trump's attempts to influence Georgia's 2020 election results, led to indictment against Trump and 18 others on 41 charges. 2002, indicting Young Thug, Unfold, net worth. Okay. No way she got a net worth of $8 million. Breaking down her finances, Willis earns an annual income of $2.7 million with a base salary of $110,000. And an additional $1.5 million from various sources, including a speaking fee of $12,000 per event. She owns 8 cars. Beyond the numbers, her wealth includes $5 million in real estate, encompassing 300 acres of farmland in Utah and Maui, 4-bedroom luxury villa in Georgia, and 2 properties in Houston. No way! Oh, shut up! This ain't right. $2 million. Where did they get this from? No, I'm not going with this. I'm not going with it. Nope, I'm not going with it. That's impossible. No way. No way. No way I'm going to believe more into the impeachment process of what's happening with Fani Willis.
Of an improper relationship between Fulton County DA Fani Willis and one of her prosecutors now has the attention of the Georgia State Senate. Today, lawmakers there approved a committee to investigate these claims. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon joins us live from the Fulton County Courthouse with the efforts from Georgia and D.C. to remove Willis from this case. Doug.
Right, Blair. This is getting very real for the district attorney now. That commission that was approved this morning by senators up the road under the Gold Dome will have subpoena power, meaning they can demand documents and even testimony. On top of that, also today, one of our state representatives proposed articles of impeachment against the district attorney, and even one of our federal U.S. congresswomen also authored a formal complaint.
Y'all actually believe that in the chat? Y'all believe it. Some of y'all believe in that. That's underreported. Okay, wait. You telling me, hold on, because listen, let's just be for real. You telling me a person that graduated from Hampton and Emory, that went into being a prosecutor, that wound up being elected, their entire bag has come from speaking fees of about $12,000 and an average salary above 6 figures, slightly above 6 figures. She is only Fani Willis age. Is she that old? Jesus, really? This chick is 51 years old. What am I looking at? Am I just off? This can't be true. She 53? She was born in 1971? Hold on, let me see something. With 2 kids, huh? No freaking way. This chick was born in 1971. She is 53 years old. She must have just had a birthday. Wow. October 27th, 1971 in Inglewood, California. Inglewood? What in God's name is happening out here? I am so confused right now. I am 100% confused. Okay, all right, because I was about to say something different. I still don't believe she got no net worth of $8 million. Jesus, what am I on? I took the wrong. Listen, y'all need to be taking a different path. Y'all should be going into politics. That's where the money is.
Things picked up steam Friday for District Attorney Fani Willis, now almost a month after the filing of allegations that she was dating the man she hired as a special prosecutor in the historic election indictment.
On the adoption resolution as amended, the yeas are 30 and the nays are 19.
The state Senate approved their own committee to investigate possible conflicts of interest and how taxpayer dollars were used to pay that man, Nathan Wade.
To date, folks, $654,000 of taxpayer money has been spent on this. As details continue to surface on a daily basis, it becomes more and more clear this was prosecution for personal profit.
The allegations claim Willis, whose office paid Wade large sums for his work, also traveled with him several times on cruises and vacations to Florida and California. On Friday, Atlanta News First obtained a copy of a formal complaint filed by U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Also on Friday, state GOP Rep. Charlize Byrd also introduced articles of impeachment against Willis in the state House that has the numbers to make that a reality.
I would be surprised if the House doesn't pass articles.
Super says, Anton, I think you'll be in politics one day. You got dog right, I'm going to be in politics one day. If I ever decide to retire or if I ever get kicked off of YouTube, I'm running straight for office. I'm going to office right away. That's where the money at. Forget content creation. I'm going into YouTube. I'm going into politics. You can forget it. What's the next seat that I need to get? I don't want to be mayor because mayors be catching hell. I might have to work my way up. There's a lot of money in being mayor, though. I don't know. We'll see.
Impeachment against her.
Georgia state law and ethics professor Clark Cunningham says Georgia's bar for impeachment is relatively low. He authored an op-ed in the New York Times this week, arguing that the only way for Willis to avoid losing the case would be to take a leave of absence.
If the disqualification happens, a new prosecutor is appointed. If she's removed by impeachment, the governor appoints a new prosecutor. So the only way she could guarantee that her office stays in control of this case is by taking a leave.
And Clark says if she wanted to, she certainly has the leverage to do it, given the multitude of swatting attempts and threats that she has been the victim of since this all started. Now, she will be here in Fulton County Court on February 15th, where a judge will decide just exactly what to do about these allegations and as far as keeping her on the case.
All I know is, of all the things that I can think of, Bernie Sanders spends a lot of times pointing out salaries and corruption and all of this stuff in corporate America and stuff like that. But he has an inside track on how every single Congress member, almost every single Congress member and Senate representative and legislator, all of them get rich eventually. All of these people are living off of public salaries. Forget the impeachment. We don't even care because we already know that they corrupt and they're going to do whatever it is that they're going to do. But all of these people eventually get rich. And they live rich. And they be on private planes. Why are all of our public representatives richer than the regular people that they supposed to be representing? They richer than the lobbyists. They richer than some of these people in these corporations that be lobbying them in order to get certain laws passed. I just need to know, Nancy Pelosi is better than Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger together combined in her stock picks. We need to just mimic Nancy Pelosi's, in stock club, just mimic whatever her stuff is, and we ain't got to go through the anguish and mental anguish of trying to sit through and parse through all of the data and information that we go through in Stock Club. All of these people are super rich. No, they wealthy. You're right. I agree with you. They not just rich, they wealthy. Bernie is rich, and he's supposed to be the best one of them all. It's just dirty. It's a dirty game, man. It's all rigged. The game is rigged, flat out. Read a couple super chats and we're going to get to it. Miami-Dade County Courts says the Millionaire Morning Show is important. I had to reschedule a whole meeting I had set up for the time that you go live. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Sorry you had to reschedule that meeting, but hopefully it don't get, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no disagreements in there. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. AD, have you heard of N95? Yes, I have. I've heard that. I think that was on his last album. The one where he was like, stop playing with me in the song. Stop playing with me. Oh, I'm attractive. Yeah, I heard. I think it's on that album, right? Or maybe on the one before it. Kendrick Lamar is not quite my cup of tea. I do like that song, and I like Good Kid, Mad City, but I'm not going to ride down the street with my chick bumping Kendrick Lamar. I'm just saying, though. All right, let's continue on with the show. We got a few more things that we need to tackle. First, let's talk about, oh, no, that's not even the one that I wanted to talk about. Let's go with this. Hold on. I got you, boo. I got you. That is the wrong one. That's what we want to go into. Denver. Now, at least once a week, what I'm looking forward to is breaking down how different places are affected by different things, right? I've done similar stories like this in the past. I think I've done it on Baltimore. I've done it on Chicago. I've done it on a few places. Have I done it on New York yet? I'm not sure. But I want to tackle different things for different places, and I want to kind of hone in on certain things, right? And so we want to hone in on Denver today, and we want to hone in on the migrant crisis that's happening over in Denver, because Denver is absolutely under assault and overwhelmed, because Denver is not even Chicago. Denver does not have the monies, the resources, and the budget that Chicago has. Denver certainly is not New York. You know, y'all can cut the budget for sanitation in New York, and yeah, y'all going to suffer as a result of it, and y'all going to have less police, but y'all used to the crime that goes over in New York. Y'all used to the rats that's running around. And this multi-billion-dollar budget that y'all got over in New York, you can kind of hide in between the seams and the cracks because y'all got over 8 million people over there. But for a city like Denver, that's always looking for another leg up. They always trying to expand the airport. They always trying to figure out how they can monetize something new that's going to affect the rest of the country in a negative way, like marijuana, right? That didn't work out. Nobody benefited as a result of that. The city's coffers is not better as a result of it, and the city is in worse shape than it's ever been. But Denver is literally being overwhelmed. And I am not exaggerating when I say overwhelmed. I mean overwhelmed by what is going on in the migrant crisis. Hospitals, schools, shelters, everything is falling apart in one of your favorite American cities whose air you can't even breathe the same way because of where it is that it's located. Hit a like for the algorithm. Let's rock out, y'all.
Tonight, one of Colorado's largest hospitals facing a crisis. Physicians at Denver Health telling us they treat everyone who comes to the ER, regardless of immigration status or ability to pay. But they're struggling to handle a spike in migrant patients.
It's been really, really hard to take care of them, both in terms of their inability to pay, but also just the sheer volume of patients that we weren't expecting.
Denver has a population of 700,000 people. And just the last year, nearly 40,000 migrants have arrived.
Let me say that again. Denver has a population of just over 700,000 people. Just last year alone, over 40,000 migrants have arrived, which made the mayor declare a state of emergency. Now, one of the things that happens when somebody declares something a crisis or an emergency is that they start to have full autonomy of how they use the resources because they can skip over all of the safeguards, such as city council, to determine what happens with the money. In most cities, especially major cities, the city council is the person that directs where the money goes, How do I know this? Because I've talked to multiple different politicians that's a part of city council and former mayors, right? The city council actually determine where the money goes, not the mayor. The mayor is kind of sort of the spokesperson, he the forefront, he the business person. He meets with most of the business leaders. But when they have that meeting on a weekly basis to determine what gets approved, what money goes where, or whatever, most of the time that comes to the city council. So the mayor puts together a budget that the city council approves, and then the city council is the ones that's the safeguards against what happens when the mayor decides that they want to jump off the reservation. Unless you declare it a emergency or a crisis. Because not only do you have the ability to tap into federal monies, you have the ability to tap into emergency funds, but you can then have a little bit more autonomy of what happens with the monies. Now, considering that we got 40,000 people that's moving in, that's not paying taxes, but taking up resources, you got to clothe them, you got to house them, you got to get food. This is another reason why inflation in a personal setting or a personal place in a locality can explode amongst the people, whereas the standard of living over there might be a little bit different. Well, Anton, how does that work? Well, the way that it works is the fact that you got to spend more money to service these people, but then you're not getting nothing back in the coffers, such as what happens in a hospital. So now the hospital got to figure out a way to pass all of those costs over to the rest of the people that come into the hospital and the consumers, including your insurance company and you personally, because they don't have anywhere to bill. So they're using the same amount of resources. They're actually having to work overtime to service all of these people, because you may not have known it, but we basically got free health care here in the United States of America. Nope, you ain't never even got to have insurance. If you go into the hospital, they not going to refuse you service. They going to have to make sure that they take care of you, similar to the way that they taking care of these migrants. And then they got to figure out how to pass the cost over to the consumer, because the hospital still got to stay afloat. Hospitals still got to generate revenue. So just because you not paying your bills or the migrants not paying their bills and they ain't got nowhere to bill it to, don't mean that they're going to refuse them service, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to still cost the hospital. They got to pass that cost over to the consumer. It's almost just like having shrinkage inside of a retail store. If everybody that comes in, if more than half of the people that come in, or more than 2/3 of the people that come in is stealing, then they got to pass that cost over to the consumers that actually purchase their goods. So you the one that then pay for it, not only with your tax dollars, but also with everything surrounding your infrastructure that allows for your city to be able to run effectively, right? And that's what's happening over in the migrant crisis with Denver. See, the migrant crisis doesn't just kill you with regard to replacing you, to who's going to vote, what the jobs are, the cost of doing business, what's happening in your schools. It also costs you more money, not just as a taxpayer, but also as a regular resident and citizen that goes in and do business every single day as a regular individual. It then costs you more money in order to go to the hospital. You try to figure out, man, why is my hospital bill so big? Why is it costing me so money just to have a baby? Well, they got to pass that cost over, because guess what? Regardless if it's a nonprofit or if it's a for-profit hospital, they still have to make money, because that's where they get the money to pay the nurses and the doctors and all of these places. And if they don't make money, guess what? They shut it down.
The mayor declaring a state of emergency.
More than 8,000 migrants have come to Denver Health for care, and most of that is coming out of the hospital's pocket.
The hospital says they need more help from federal and state government to pay for over $10 million in unpaid migrant medical bills so far.
So when you go into your neighborhood and you say, oh my God, they're underserving and this is systematic racism. You say, okay, well, explain to me how it's systematic racism. Because they don't do the thing that's in the best interest of everybody, and the hospitals over there in the rich county is different than the hospitals over here in the hood. Well, that's because don't nobody in the hood pay their hospital bills, and half of them ain't got insurance in the first place. And the insurance that they do have, it come from the state, which is basically paying out less in premiums and what it is that you're doing for certain services versus what you got going over there in your own private healthcare insurance, or for people that pay their bills, right? So when you talk about the level of care and the amount of people that you got to service, is very similar to what's happening with the migrant crisis. Those hospitals that serve underprivileged or people that don't want to actually do the thing that's in their best interest in their own communities, they get destroyed by a segment of people that it then pass that cost over to the rest of the people that may have to be able to do it. But when you can't balance that out, guess what happens? Then you have a hospital that closes inside of your hood or your neighborhood. See, it all comes back down to the money, and that's why we talk about this on the Millionaire Morning Show. All of it, every piece of it comes back down to the money. It's not systemic. It's not systemic. It's just the reality. It's guns and butter, baby. Guns and butter. See, the guns is the dumb shit. You know. Y'all going out here. Dumb shit. See, the butter, that's the stocks and the bonds. The stocks, the bonds, artwork. It's that appreciate. You dumb mother effers. Ain't that what Ving Rhames said in Baby Boy? It's guns. He was cutting his bald head with the razor. It's guns and it's butter, baby. It's guns and butter. See, the guns is the dumb shit.
Outside a shelter, we meet Mary Anise and her 3 sons. She's being treated here for Parkinson's. I'm very grateful. In my country, it was very difficult. We were not able to get medicine for my condition, she said.
With that new North Face jacket on white on white on white.
Emergency room pediatrician Dr. Christy Rodriguez says they want to give patients the care they need, but they need funding, with the hospital facing a breaking point.
Is this an emergency here? I think it's about to be. I think this isn't sustainable how it is right now.
Meanwhile, Denver's public schools are also scrambling to keep up, with nearly 3,000 new migrant students.
So we've had around 100, which makes about 20% now of our student body. Now, over time,
Principal Brian Clark's school now receives 5 to 10 new students per week, what they used to get in an entire year. Now some classes have hit the 35 student limit, so some students have had to be transferred to other schools.
Come February 5th, the city says they'll start restricting stays on migrants in shelters and kicking many of them out onto the streets.
It affects everything that you do. See, some of y'all said, oh, send the migrants in. Oh, we're all a part of the same congregation, kumbaya. But what about when your teacher can't teach because now they got to allocate more of their time and their resources over into teaching this kid that don't even speak English and they got to be bilingual, and you got over 40 to 45 people in one classroom and this person don't even know what to do or follow the instructions, and you got to have more money and resources and school funding for school lunches. And you see how it all starts to trickle down and how it affects your children? See, nobody cares until it's your children. See, I don't have to worry about it because my daughter will then go to a private school and I can afford it. And this is how the middle class are the ones that get shafted and then hit in the back of their head. And then you trying to figure out how you can do better, and I need to move out to a new school district, a new neighborhood. Nah, family, this is you. This is all for you. This is what you voted for. So now you got to sit and live with it. And you think that they just sitting still all day long? The parents, they just slow motion? Nah, they went and got them a squeegee from Walmart and Target and CVS. And every single stoplight that you stop at, they trying to get you some tip money over from them squeegees, because what you thought that they was going to wait for a work permit in order to start to get themselves together?
All new here at 9, the problem solvers are taking your viewer concerns to the city about scenes just like this one. Many are reporting an increase of people crowding in medians, using squeegees on cars and selling flowers or other panhandling around the metro. Tonight, Fox 31's Nicole Fierro is on it. She joins us live with the story. Nicole.
Yeah, it's something you may very well see driving along here on Colfax in Colorado during the day. People squeegeeing, the same act for money that prompted a crackdown in New York City decades ago. But here in Denver, city officials tell us this is now a result of the migrant crisis.
Coming up on Colorado and Colfax. 1 second, you're stopping for a red. The next, you may get a smile of suds on your windshield. It's something drivers like Xavier Hill have noticed lately.
I actually read the note from one of the guys. He said he was from Venezuela. Said his name, and it seemed like they're just, I guess, kind of placed up here, and they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have any way to do anything or any way to, I guess, earn money through identification or, background checks or stuff like that.
a situation Denver City Council member at large Sarah Parody spoke to us about.
And it's a lot of young families. And people that had every conceivable background coming from Venezuela, but people that are professionals. I've talked to so many healthcare professionals.
Parody says seeing more people squeegeeing on the streets is a ripple effect of the current.
I hear you giving us an update about the students and stuff in the chat. I hear you. I'm rocking with you.
Asylum and work authorization barriers that council and city leaders have been pressing the federal government to fix.
They won't get a hearing in their asylum case usually for like 1 to 3 years. And during that time, there's a wait period where they are prohibited from working. And if they work, they could actually lose their claim and be deported.
So we've asked for expanded work authorization. We've asked for the ability for more people to be able to get there and get a job.
John Ewing with Denver Human Services says he, like many constituents, recognizes the safety concerns of people crowding the medians in traffic.
We worry about it too. We do tell people when they're in shelter immediately, here's some things you need to know about traffic around here.
Yeah, we reached out to DPD about the traffic safety concerns and legality about it in case, someone got hit. They said they'd give us a written response. Haven't received it yet at this hour, but as soon as we get anything, we'll be sure to update you on air and put it online.
So if you're in Denver or New York or Chicago, hustle culture is going to be real because, they ain't just chilling, right? But I'll do you one better. Not only are they panhandling out here in Denver, because Denver is under assault, they also trying to hire them for the actual state. Yes, the migrants are starting to get hired, or at least that's what they're advocating for in the city of Denver.
Right now, many migrants in Denver are having a hard time finding work because of federal work rules.
Yeah, the city is now exploring the possibility of having migrants work for the city. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez joins us. And Brianna, this is a kind of loophole to the federal rules.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Denver leaders haven't yet convinced the federal government to loosen work regulations for migrants. So the mayor's spokesperson said this comes with a significant level of risk since the legal theory has never been tested. Last week, Mayor Mike Johnson met with the members of the Biden administration in Washington. He's asking for changes to the 1980s law limiting who can work in the U.S. So it states migrants cannot apply for the federal work permits for 150 days after they file for asylum. The law also bans private companies from hiring workers without a federal work permit, but it does not explicitly ban state and local governments from hiring. That's what Denver right now is exploring. So in the meantime, intersections across the city have filled up with migrants with nowhere else to work. Brian, who recently arrived to Denver from the southern border, stands at the corner of Federal and Alameda every day washing windows to make money for his family.
No tengo permiso. Eso es lo que no entiendo. ¿Para qué nos dejaron pasar si no tenemos permiso de trabajo? Entonces, eso es lo que buscamos.
He said, I ain't got permission, and this is what I don't understand. He said, I don't understand this. He said, we don't have work authorization. We look for work, and they ask us for our authorization.
Trabajo y nos piden el permiso. Esto es lo que tenemos que hacer.
This is what we do every day to survive. We surviving out in Denver. This is the Carter out here in these streets.
Diario, paso para poder sobrevivir.
Mayor Mike Johnson's office says hiring migrant workers for city jobs is a last option that they're exploring at the moment. It also comes with legal risks. They say if former President Donald Trump wins the election in November, everything could change when it comes to immigration. If the city hires migrants and allows them to work, the federal government, especially under Trump, could criminally charge everyone from the city who is employing these migrants.
So their last-ditch effort over in Denver, who, by the way, is still a sanctuary city. Why? We can only guess. And if I had to guess and I had to put a ton of money on it, it would probably be because they're being forced to be by the Biden administration, because big bad administration over in Biden is holding everybody hostage, and they see what happened with Get Out of Line like they did over in New York. You know what happened to Eric Adams, right? And so that's my guess, right? I can't substantiate that. That's just my guess because nobody's really talking. Everybody is under duress. Nobody is happy about it, but everybody is continuing to go along with the program as usual. But here's the key. Now they're saying, okay, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. We want to hire them for the city as a last-ditch effort. Look, if we can't do this, if we can't do that, then maybe we can hire them for the city. The problem is that if Donald Trump get elected, it's a possibility that all of y'all can get arrested for doing something illegal, because you know it's illegal to hire them in the United States of America, especially on taxpayer dollars. On taxpayer dollars. Now I wonder what the people feel about this. That's my question. What does the people in the city of Denver in the United States of America feel about this? Because even when they go over into Washington and they say, hey, Biden, hey, Congress, give us free. Give us free. Give us free. Y'all know that movie, right? Give us free. And then you add money on top of that. Well, whose money do you think that come out of? So even if you don't live in Denver or Chicago or New York or Los Angeles or Atlanta or Boston, no matter where you live, you're going to be affected by the migrant crisis. Remember that. So when you vote this November, or even when you vote locally, I want you to remember exactly who's going to be affected the most. All of us. We are all under duress here in the United States of America as they continue to leave our borders open for illegal immigration. All right. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to get it popping. Got a couple more things we want to go over. Darnell says, I'm about to start packing my bags for those travel contracts coming from Denver. Maybe y'all can go get a job that work for the federal government. Zach says, I'm hearing they are giving them fake social security numbers at these shelters and 90% don't even plan to work. Really? Cite your sources. Jay Ben says, those kids going to get their legalization before their parents. Pookie and Sharkeisha going to bust down because I like your little accent with the mixed race ratio. Shout out to my dog Jay Ben. Oh, they already having a little cheering here. Colorado Rick says, I love how you're pointing this out. Now, will you please let the people know what they can do about this? Nobody listens to me. Well, the first thing that we got to do is we got to get aware, right? The second thing that we got to do is we got to hold our legislative branches accountable on a local level. If you don't make your voices known on a local level, then it's no reason why they're going to listen to you on a national level, because they're already in office and they're already in a fight and they already got the UAW endorsement. So, you know, the people that are determining, and you need to support the governments and the governors that are actually helping and legislating and fighting the federal government, such as Texas. Texas and Greg Abbott, Professor X down there, is over there killing it. So shout out to Colorado Rick. I'm doing my part in keeping people informed. Also, my dog Brock is in the building with the Pastor Love offering. Shout out to Brock. I appreciate you for holding me down. But as you guys navigate throughout this crisis and you're having a problem, one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. And I'm about to bring more visibility to this coming into February, especially around tax season, because I know a lot of y'all going to want to use y'all tax return in order to go out here and trick, get you some Louboutin, some Gucci, some Prada, right? Even if if you got a lot of kids and you've been finessing the system real hard, you might be able to go get you some Hermes. Yeah, a lot of y'all going to go get y'all BBLs, butterfly eyelashes. Gonna get you a new Nissan? You gonna get you a new Nissan? Okay. New Charger, Hellcat, Dodge Charger. That's what you're gonna get. New car, new clothes, new shoe, chain. You get you a chain, money, phone. Listen, y'all can look forward to tax season. Tax season is just now kicking off, all right? Now, we know that there's gonna be a lot of people that get their tax returns. You know, you got the child income credit. Some of y'all gonna be finessing. You going to H&R Block to go and get you a loan, an interest-free loan, get you a little bit of extra on the top of it. They just gonna throw some fees on there. We're gonna see a lot of money phones. Everybody gonna be stunting, right? All the way through April. By the time June hit, we're gonna be back in a recession. So all of those people that you know that was getting money up then, it's gonna be a little bit different. But the one thing that we do know that they not gonna do is they not gonna go out and pay their rent. No, sirree, they not going to go out there and pay their rent. No, because why pay my rent when I can go out here and stunt? Miami Beach is calling me. Got to get us some bundles. Listen, we'll hustle up that money later. Get us some bundles. We ain't never had nothing anyway, so what's the point of doing something that's more informed? Why educate ourselves? Why pay off our debt? Why make sure that we invest in something? Why join the Patreon? The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We know that you going to get you a new Nissan Altima, that $1,200 car note. We going to figure out how to pay the car note later. But we do know that it only take us $2,300 and a down payment to get us into an 18% interest rate Altima. And we're going to go and get that, right? We're going to go and get that from whoever your local dealer is. We stunting today. Listen, you work all year to give away a fourth or a third of what you make, only to go and stunt for about a month. So as y'all can look forward to the money phones and stuff like that, one thing that is happening across the country is people are getting evicted. Oh, yes, sirree. Yeah, and you know who's the most affected? Women's. This is a statistical fact. This is not my opinion. Women's. You know, the ones that don't need no man. Men too. You know, it's some men that's getting evicted. Life is lifing. But it's women's. It's women's that's the most affected by what's happening. And you know one of the places that it's happening to in the most? I'm going to take y'all all across the country in February. But we're going to start off in South Florida. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
They're going up, of course. The rent has like doubled for a lot of people, and they just can't afford to pay the new prices.
All new at 6, evictions are on the rise in South Florida. With everything getting more expensive, it's not a surprise, but for the thousands of families being forced out of their homes, it's traumatic.
And we're hearing this over and over again. CBS News Miami's Joe Murray spent time with an evicted couple in crisis and talked with them and with experts on how to get help.
With their animals in tow, Danny and Jonathan Rivera are living in a one-bedroom motel room in Hialeah.
Hold on. Let me just say this first. A couple different things while we go on into this. A, it's not just happening to black people. I want y'all to get that out of y'all head. It's a lot of people that's going through it, and they not just black. I know you think that the only thing that the world revolves around is 13.6% of the population inside of the United States of America. It's not. It's happening to everybody across the board, okay? Everybody is affected from all cultures, races, and every single city that's in the United States of America. That's number one. Number two, you're going to have to pick a struggle. You can't be getting put out your house and you got dogs and puppies at the same time. You can't take care of yourself. You can't be getting put out of your house and you pregnant. You can't be getting evicted and you still having sex. I'm sorry. Look. You got enough trouble as it is. You're going to have to pick a struggle. You can't be out here, both of y'all sitting in wheelchairs. Both of y'all can't work, and you got some puppies to take care of. Listen, you're doing the puppies a disservice. You can't even feed yourself. Y'all staying in a one-bedroom motel, and you sitting here talking to me and telling me that y'all got puppies or you got habits. You can't be smoking down no runts. You can't be smoking runts and Reggie at the same time. You're going to have to pick a struggle, big dog.
They were evicted from their apartment, they said, because of a rental disagreement and problems with their building.
It's absolutely horrific, especially when you did everything right.
Life fell apart a year ago when Jonathan, a cook.
She got a neck brace on and he got a foot brace on. Not you getting neck injuries and he getting a foot injury at the same time. Not his ankle hurting and your neck hurting. And you ain't got no healthcare coverage. That's a recipe for disaster, big dog.
Could not work because of a chronic condition that makes it difficult to stand. He's had surgeries and needs more.
That's my goal, is to be able to return to work after everything is done, because I've worked every day since I was 15 years old. That's all I know how to do.
The Riveras aren't alone. According to the Eviction Lab, which tracks housing trends, Miami-Fort Lauderdale over the past 12 months has had over 23,000 evictions.
Let me make sure I got that right.
For the past 12 months has had over 23,000 evictions.
Miami-Dade County, Fort Lauderdale area, 12 months, less than 1 year, 23,000 evictions. Listen, while the migrants is coming here, you getting threw out on your head. 23,000 evictions in one city, one area. Man, listen, people not playing around no more. They are not playing around with you. They are not playing no games. This is not during the pandemic. Ain't no rent moratorium. Ain't no hold up. The minute that they can get you in court is the minute that they get you up out of here, family. The minute that they can get you in court is the minute that they get you. 23,000. It's a lot of people, a lot of households.
Well, the evictions are going up, of course. The rent has like doubled for a lot of people, and they just can't afford to pay the new prices.
Bertisha Combs is with Florida Rising, a housing advocacy group in Fort Lauderdale. We asked her what to do when you get an eviction notice.
The paperwork is very confusing. So you have to respond within 5 days. You have to pay something into the rent registry, and then you have to basically ask for like a determination of rent,
or there's another option. Now, this may be a novel idea because I know that she works for Florida Rising and she's trying to give y'all the game on what it is that you're supposed to do when you receive an eviction notice. You got to pay the rent. Got to pay the rent. That's the whole thing that you can do to solve for. Now, this ain't even including foreclosures. This is just rent. This is just eviction. You got to pay the rent, family. If you want to keep the lights on, if you want to live in your little house and you want to stay in the space where you can go and party all year long because the weather is so nice and y'all keep telling me how you ain't never moving because it's all about the weather, then you got to pay the rent. That's the way that you stay out of eviction, is you got to pay the piper. Now, again, this don't even have nothing to do with foreclosures. This is just people that are getting thrown out of their house because they ain't pay their rent.
Or ask for a hearing, or either some type of, what do you call this?
So you have to go to the courthouse.
You have to go to the courthouse.
Yeah.
If you understand the language, or if you don't understand the language, find somebody who does. So what we do a lot of times is, because we partner with a community justice project, I'll give them a call and ask them, can they help somebody on a case?
The Riveras aren't sure where they'll go next. Their 11-year-old son is staying.
He over there looking stupid. Hold on. Look at this couple, y'all.
Case.
The Riveras aren't sure.
He got a scooter with the one leg. He still needs surgery. She got a neck brace and she walking in with her wheelchair.
Where they'll go next. Their 11-year-old son is staying elsewhere.
And they still having sex.
They can't give us a...
They got an 11-year-old son. They got 2 puppies. Both of them got wheelchairs. He ain't got no foot. She ain't got no neck. He ain't got no foot. She ain't got no neck. 2 puppies. This is called bad life decisions on top of inflation. Look, we got enough things against us in a general sense. We don't need to be making self-imposed bad decisions. You can't have 2 struggling, because 2 struggling is like a half a body. That's not even a whole body. They need to, Jesus Christ, where the son at? Let me talk to the son. The son is probably the only person that got a reasonable head on top of his shoulders, because apparently her neck is hurting.
2 beds and a wheelchair accessible shower. So we have to choose between mine and my husband's ability to bathe or being with our son at this location.
Oh, so you can't wash up either?
I always tell people it can only get better because it can't get worse.
Oh,
and it's
yes,
not looking any better.
Oh, yes, it can get way worse. I know some bridges. I know some homeless shelters that you don't want to go into. Let me tell you something, buddy. Listen, if you thought that was rock bottom, I've done a lot of volunteer work in my day, and specifically for homeless. It's specifically for homeless. It can get way worse, buddy. Don't think that you at the bottom right now. You don't have no time to spare. Listen. For those of y'all that are watching this right now, listen to the words that's coming out of my mouth. Don't let nobody shame you into doing something that you're not supposed to do so you can be sitting out here getting evicted and living in South Florida because you wanted to go out there and shake your butt.
Florida Rising telling me they anticipate in 2024 18,000 evictions here in Broward. If you get a notice, don't ignore it and don't just leave because it could affect your future chances for housing. In Pompano Beach, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
And if you're struggling with eviction, there is help available. Florida's Rising is a people-powered advocacy group fighting for economic and racial justice, and you can
go to Florida Rising so they can fight for economic and racial justice on your behalf while they putting you under that bridge and getting you into that homeless shelter and making you take showers and pick who gonna get clean today. And while you got a neck brace and she got a foot brace, and y'all both rolling in wheelchairs, and while y'all buying dogs and getting dog food, you're going to be getting put out of your house. That's what I know for sure. That's what I know for sure. One thing is for certain and two things is for sure is that ain't nobody playing no games when you're not paying the rent because they got to pay their mortgage. That's a fact, though. Let me go to this. P. Shank in the building says federal employees make more than people in corporate. It was the opposite in the 80s, and now it's on the taxpayer dime. Shout out to you. And then Aaron with the hate says, Lions back to being trash again. How are we trash? It makes no sense, Aaron. That makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm going to let you get that off because we know that you don't have a team to root for right now, Aaron, but it's okay. We going to get there. Make sure y'all tune into the Q show tonight and make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Stock Club is tomorrow night. We moved it to Sunday to tomorrow night because we had a whole lot of people over here making sure that they go and talk to Rita and they wanted to go and be here or whatever. It was not a quiet place for me to do Stock Club. I would have been in a closet with no lights on like, hey, y'all, guess what? This is the next thing that we want to invest in. So I had to be very, very careful about that, all right? Okay? Let me get to the last thing. Got to get to the money. No, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I can replace that asset really quickly. Here we go. All right, guys. Now, we got to get to the money. Listen, Will Smith was not wrong in iRobot when he said that he didn't like what the future looked like. You may not like what the future looked like, or you may like what the future looked like. I don't know. We going to figure it out. Make sure that you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications because AI is now powering restaurants. Now, when I warned you guys, and I've been warning you for years, and I've been warning you since y'all was advocating for $15 an hour, and you thought that these was going to be jobs that you hold on for the rest of your life. And then recently, California said that if you have any additional locations above a certain amount, then you're going to have to pay all of your employees, even if you're just a franchisee, $25, $26 an hour in order to deliver pizza or flip fries or throw a burger up on there or whatever. Y'all say, yay, victory for us because the corporate landlords is the evil ones and we need to eat the rich. Everything is going automated. Oh, you thought that artificial intelligence was only going to affect this, right? You thought it was just going to affect your device? You thought it was just going to affect what we got going on, the Apple Vision Pro, because that's being shipped and that's going to be here this weekend? That's what you thought. You thought that it was only going to affect your watches and your cars and you didn't like electric cars or anything like that? You thought it was going to affect the gamers or the YouTube algorithm or social media and stuff? It's going to affect you. And your kids. And your kids. So let me bring y'all up to date on what the latest innovation is. And I actually did a report on this probably well over a year ago. But y'all didn't hear me because y'all said, oh my God, that's not going to happen. They have an entirely new restaurant concept that they're piloting. And it's 100% AI powered. The entire restaurant has no employees and it's AI powered.
Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California. That's where the world...
Let me just say this before we get into the thick of the money. She's so cute. Ooh, wait. She's so cute. She got on all that white. She looked like a little angel right there. Who is this, y'all? Can somebody give me her name so we can make sure that we can reach out to her to be on the Millionaire Morning Show to find out what's really going on? She need to come and work for Anton Daniels. She's so weirdly cute. I like her. I like what she got going on here. I got to give props where props is due. I'm not going to sit here and be distracted. So y'all do not have to hold me accountable saying, Anton, you getting distracted. Azriel, Connie, Trap, Messi, all of y'all going to be in the chat saying, Anton, you always getting distracted. Anton, you always getting distracted when you see a gorgeous news anchor. Oh, what can I say? I like news anchors. I got to thank the news anchors. Let's continue.
The world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots. We sent CBS's Joy Benedict on a taste test.
Flippy the chef makes Spud spectacular. This automated grill gives the meat its sizzle as this restaurant goes robotic.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too. A cheeseburger. Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember you, your favorite food, and how you like to pay. Then watch the robots work. No humans required.
We don't need y'all no more. We gonna out-innovate y'all. You ain't got to worry about $15 an hour. You ain't got to worry about $20 an hour. You ain't got to worry about $26 an hour. We don't need you. And guess what? Initially, people always push back. They always revolt. They got the same technology that they use at the airport. If you got pre-check TSA, if you got any of that stuff and you go in and you just look at it, it already know exactly who you are. They already got facial recognition. And so now it's going to go more into facial recognition. The same technologies as we've been using in our phones is the same technology. They're going to be able to figure out how fast you can order your stuff. Most of y'all is creatures of habit. We already know what you like. Burger, pickles, onions, no tomatoes, no lettuce. That's what you like because you don't even like vegetables. And it's going to know exactly what you want to order. And initially you're going to revolt. I don't like cameras. I don't like Big Brother, but all of y'all got Ring cameras on your house. I don't like all of this extra technology. These phones is getting on my nerve, and you got 2 iPhones now, huh? I don't like all of this password sensitivity and all of this stuff. Yeah, whatever. You will initially revolt. And then initially, you give in anyway. So we ain't got to worry about Keith Lee. We ain't got to worry about all of these people coming to your city no more. Everything is going to be automated. You ain't got to worry about paying $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, $30 an hour. They are, look, if you got the initial monies to innovate and open up a restaurant, you can automate the process and you ain't even got to worry about a cashier no more.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills, and they're dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues.
62% of restaurants report being understaffed. Industry experts say most of those unfilled jobs could be done by robots. And in California, where the minimum wage for most fast food workers will soon be $20 an hour, fewer workers equals cost savings. Dan Ives is with Wedbush Securities, a wealth management firm.
Once the minimum wage went to 20, that's the bell going off. More and more focus on spending on AI. Because look, that's inflationary. That's the problem. You can't necessarily pass all that to the consumer.
Flippy can cook 250 pounds of French fries an hour. The burger bot, 100 patties.
These restaurants are very, very busy at peak times, and every second that gets added to somebody waiting in the drive-thru is a lost revenue opportunity.
No more bad attitudes. No more have to worry about somebody spitting in your food. You ain't even got to worry about tipping no more. Remember y'all was complaining about tipping? We solving for all of that. We've taken all of your complaints as a user experience evangelist, and we've compiled them, and we've solved for it through automation. Now we got the technology to chat GBT your order. We ain't got to worry about it no more. We ain't got to worry about no more prank videos where people is driving up and they talking to somebody nasty and you getting bad and people getting fired and all of this stuff. You ain't got to get mad at the person that's at the window and want to grab them up through the window and pull them through and all of that. You ain't got to worry about that no more because we solved for that. We got Flippy. Flippy will make 100 patties in a time that it would have took That person with the bad attitude over there that refused to take a shower before he came in today, and he always late and he always drunk, and we can't get nobody to staff because everybody keep calling off and don't nobody care and they don't feel like they're going to get fired anyway because you already understaffed and I dare you to find me and you got a smart mouth. Don't worry about it. We got you. We got you. We going to fix every single problem by eliminating the human aspect of it.
For that restaurant.
Is it costing people their jobs?
That's not what we've seen. It's really here to help people.
Humans at Cali Express will put the...
And they already told them the talking points. They said, listen, never say it eliminates human jobs. Always say it helps humans to become more efficient. AI is not here to replace you. It's there to assist you and help you become even better at your job than you were before. That's the talking point. That's the talking point in technology. That's the talking point in restaurants. It's the same talking point across the board. AI is not here to replace you. AI is here to assist you. It is going to make you a better employee. It's going to help you make more money. It's going to help you to be more customer friendly. You're going to serve more effectively. It allows for you to focus more on the customer experience instead of being focused on the actual tedious process that we can use machines for. Why would I want you and your talent? This is what you picture. Hey guys, listen. So we got some new automated technology inside of here. And guess what? Nobody is getting laid off, so I don't even want you guys to even think that from the first place. Can we get a round of applause for no layoffs? Can we get a round of applause? Hey! High five, high five. No layoffs. So I want you guys to alleviate your concerns right now. Artificial intelligence is not here to replace you guys. Artificial intelligence is here to help you guys work more efficiently, right? I know that you guys don't want to go out there doing those hard tasks. I see you, John. You always complaining about being on burgers. No more burgers for you. Cindy, no more fries. You know, we want you to focus more on the customer experience. So, John, now you're on bathrooms. Cindy, you can be on camera monitors to make sure that we don't have anybody out here trying to do anything to the robots. And it's to help you guys to be a lot more efficient. So no job replacements. I want somebody out there replacing the letters on the sign ASAP. Douglas, the black guy, I want you out there shoveling snow, buddy. Yep. We don't have to get the snow plows anymore. No more pushes. Douglas, until you quit, you will be on snow forever. If it ain't no snow, you will be sweeping the parking lot forever. Because guess what? We want the customer experience to be great no matter what happens. So listen, this is not to replace you. This does not mean that you will no longer have employment here at Squeegee King. Nope. This is to make sure that we give the best experience to our customers and to spend our funds and allocate resources towards the things that matter, okay? So can we get a team on 3? 1, 2, 3. Nah, I didn't hear anybody. Come on. I need a little bit more enthusiasm. Can we get a team on 3? 1, 2, 3, team. Douglas, get your ass out in the parking lot ASAP. I'm tired of looking at you. All right, let's continue.
Finishing touches on orders. For customers, the price of the meals are competitive. As for taste,
is it going to affect the quality and the taste?
I would say yes, in a good way, because now each burger is being cooked precisely the same way every time.
Time will tell whether AI takes over kitchens everywhere. That will be up to the public to chew on.
Oh, God.
Of course it's good. Of course it's good, Shandy. Of course this burger is good. You know why? Because now we ain't got to worry about you undercooking, overcooking. We ain't got to worry about your tip jars no more. You ain't got to worry about nothing. The only thing you got to worry about is the snow. Doug, snow, now. I don't care if you got on Crocs. Snow. Doug, you snow. Now. All right? Anyways, I just wanted to make sure that y'all were familiar with what's happening out here in these streets, man. I got to go and meet with my contractors. Because the one thing that I know for sure and two things is for certain is that people are always going to need a place to live. But everybody that's getting evicted, everything that's getting evicted, I'm going to put my money on a tried and true place to invest in. And you know what that is? Real estate, baby. Listen, make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description. as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Doug, I want to see you out there getting that snow done. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. If you are not a part of the Teach Hanley crew, make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you, Teach, for holding us down. And then last but not least, we are going to be live streaming tonight on the Anton Daniels channel. Make sure you tune into the Q show. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. I love you. Listen, we got over 2,100 members in here kicking it with us today. Before you leave, I need you to hit a like, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. I want you guys to make sure that y'all smash it because it really helps us with the algorithm. If you have not already subscribed to After Hours with Anton Daniels, we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. Tonight, we're going to be on the Anton Daniels channel, and we're going to be doing a live stream with Q. Quentin, they're going to be giving me the business when it comes to holding me accountable over women and the Detroit Lions losing. We got the best group of people. God, dog, that hit the floor. I can't even put that in my mouth no more. We got the best group of people on the face of this earth, and I couldn't do it without you. I'm excited for this week. We're going into February. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you do the thing that's in your best interest. I love you. I appreciate you. There is no show, not one show on the face of this planet that's better than what we're doing at the Anton Daniels channel, and you know it. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, y'all. One more favor before we get up out of here, y'all. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. The greatest morning, money, news, politics, everything comes back to the money anyway. The greatest show on the face of this earth. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. I'm going to see y'all tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern PM. Peace.